everybody. I am here today to do a little video on a Valentine's swap that I'm doing with my 3 buddies that are part of the Fab4Creates group. We also do the Pick Stick Challenge on Facebook, and we decided it would be fun if we did a little one-on-one swap for a Valentine's project. So we each sent one another a little envelope of goodies, and my envelope is from Lizzie of Lizzie's Workshop, and I just want to show you what I have to work with here. Oops, some escapees. First of all, this background piece, and let me zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. This is nice heavy cardstock that she's done a mono print, a jelly print on, with these great blues and bright pinks and all the circles, which I just love. And then there's some of this beautiful crochet lace. We have some Valentine's tickets that are super cute. We have some mulberry paper hearts. There's some white and some different colors of light and dark pink. You see those there. Okay, then we have some die cut pieces that are like little, cupids, cherubs, flowers. We've got a little bird here. It says, "Believe me, true." And then there's some little flowers that go with that that look like a flower on one side, and they have a polka dot pattern on the back. So those are fun. And then we have all these, I'm not sure what they are, but they're plasticky, and there's all kinds of flowers and greenery that goes with them. They're kind of, if you can hear that, they're not paper, so I'm not sure what they are, but they're kind of like a lightweight, like folder material or something. Heavier than like a page protector, but I'm not sure exactly what they are. So these are all the pieces that I have to work with. And I got to thinking, well, what am I going to make? I didn't really feel like doing a journal page. And I didn't really want to do a Valentine's card or a canvas or anything like that. So I started looking around my studio, and I have this little cover for like a junk journal or scrapbook or whatever. And I don't remember exactly what this was made from, but it's pretty small in size. Let's see here. It is about 3 3/8 by about 3 1/2, and it's got a pretty thick spine at about 1 3/4 inches. So I decided what I'm going to do is make me a little junk journal with these items. I've pulled out a few things to color with, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do. I've got out all my my tea-stained papers and cards and things like that I'm going to use. But I know that the first thing I want to do is I want to change the color of this, because I don't want it to be white, because I want to go for a more vintage look on this to go with the tea-stained items. So I have some Color Bloom spray here in, oddly enough, the color is tea stain. And I'm going to spray this crochet ribbon and give it a little color. And this will also, because this is has a shimmer to it, it will give it a little bit of a shine. So all I'm going to do is I've just got this down here on my craft mat, and I'm going to start spraying it and working it through this spray. And I don't care if it's real even or not. I just don't want this to have just this plain white look. And you just keep working it. You could do this in if you didn't have a craft mat, you could do this in a little plastic container or something like that. And I'm just going to keep going into the residual spray that I have on my mat here and picking that up into the fabric. Need a little bit more. And then when I get enough color on this, and you could do this with multiple colors too if you wanted to. If I wanted to add a little bit of pink or something to this, I could, but I'm just going to go just with this tea stain spray And then we'll set this off to the side. This is the same way that you color, like I have a great big roll of white seam binding, and I just color it whatever color I want. And this is the same way that I do it, just with a spray. Or you could even water down some paints, or if you had some magicals, you could dilute those. And that's probably enough. It's not real even. You can see there's still areas that are kind of white-ish, but it's not that stark white in your face. So I'm just going to set that aside to let that dry. Wipe off my mat here with my colorful napkin. And then we'll start assembling some signatures for my little book. Actually, I may work on the cover first. Let's figure out what we're going to do with this cover. Obviously, this is just a cardboard box that I've covered with some like craft packing paper, and then it's got a coat of gesso on it, so that it will hopefully take whatever I decide to put on it. And I've been trying to look at the colors of the things that Lizzie sent me to kind of match, and I'm having a little trouble matching. Everything I've got is either airs on the side of too pink, too orange, or whatever. Like I thought about this color bloom spray, but that's obviously got way too much of an orange cast to it to work. And I thought about this pretty. I'm in love with these metallic paints, you guys. They're so pretty. But I'm afraid that, I don't know, it might work. We may try that, put a light coat on here. It may possibly be too pink, I'm not sure, but we'll mess around with that. And I want to add a little bit of texture to that. In fact, I'm going to add probably some of these hearts. And I've got some real small doilies that I think that I'll add on here as well. So I'm going to get to work on this, and I will probably speed the video up so you don't have to painfully watch everything in real time. And we'll see what we end up here with our little Valentine junk journal, okay? So just sit tight and listen to some happy music and enjoy the ride. Okay, so I'm back to show you where I'm at with signatures and things for this little book. Here's how the cover came out. I left it pretty much just plain on the back. And then on the inside I put one of those cupids or angels or whatever they are, and one of the mulberry hearts right there. And that's all I'm going to do to the cover. I also didn't go crazy nuts on the signatures. Since it is such a small book, I decided to leave them fairly simple. I have 6 signatures, which is going to be plenty, as you can see, once I get them in the little book. That's going to be a plenty full little book. And then whoever, gets it or whatever, they can add more to it if they want to make it a real chunky monkey. But I kept these fairly simple. Each signature is roughly the same. I have tea-dyed index cards and papers in here, and then just some random little pieces of scrapbook paper that I had left over that I cut them to sort of be the right size. I did very simple stamping just with flowers and hearts with I think it's called Rose Madder archival ink pad. Here's some tea-dyed paper. This is a little teeny tiny glassine bag. I've been dying to use these. I have like 1,000 of them, and I stuff them in my shop, and I've been dying to use them. So I have in here. Here's some of those, whatever these flowers are that came in my little goodie envelope of stuff from Lizzie. And I wasn't sure what kind of adhesive would work with these, since I don't know what this is. It's sort of like plasticky vellum type stuff. So I did use glossy accents to glue them down because I wanted to make sure they stay put. This is another tea-dyed index card with the graph on it. More tea-dyed paper. Some random scrapbook paper. Then I put a pocket in here. You've got a little pull-out tag. And each signature has one of these tags. And I took that crochet cotton trim that Lizzie had sent me that was beautiful bright white, that I shabby chic'd it up, and I just cut up a small piece and put it through the hole and then tied it with a little bit of plain twine. So then that's the center, and we go back the other direction. Tea-dyed paper, tea-dyed card. Here's the other side of the glassine bag with one of those little Valentine's tickets in it. Okay, and everyone is pretty much the same. And there's 6 of them, as I mentioned. The only thing different maybe from one to another is that I didn't necessarily have enough of the little tickets to go in all the glassine bags, so some of them have one of the little die cut pieces in there instead. I love these little baby glassine bags. So now what I'm going to show you is how I'm going to bind this, and I'm going to use what's called the Easy Twine binding system. And I got this from Debbie at Ephemera's Vintage Garden, I believe is the name of it. And I can link, I'll put a link below to show you where to go to her site. She has some beautiful digital printouts and things that she does. And she does fabulous junk journals. Basically, what we're going to do is, rather than do any punching or sewing or anything like that, and I have to admit, the stitch binding scares the bejeebers out of me. I don't like doing it. Only done it once or twice. So what we're going to do is each signature is just going to have twine wrapped through it that has been wrapped around the binding. So what you do, and I have this 2-tone, well 3-tone if you count the white, heavy baker's twine that I'm going to use. Now you could use regular, binding thread. You could use embroidery floss. If you left it like as 6-strand, that would be great too. What I'm going to do is, around my binding, is I'm going to leave at least one length that is the height of my book, okay? And because I'm always afraid I'm not going to have enough, I'm going to leave a couple, all right? Then I'm going to wrap around my binding, my spine, the number of times that I have signatures, if that makes sense. So I have 6 signatures, so I want 6 wraps around here, okay? And you'll see why. Just scooch them together. They don't need to look pretty right now. We just need to get them on there, okay? So there I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 6. So we have our 6 wraps, and I have my 2 ends. And what we're going to do is we're going to cross them over one another. Make sure I still have 6. It makes me paranoid to do this. Okay, and you want this fairly snug. Then we're going to, and I'm just using my weeding tool because I can't find a crochet hook right now. I'm going to go under all of these, grab this other edge, bring it around, tie these together, and then you could do a bow, you could do whatever, and I will add some little bead dangly things on here, okay? So here we have our 6 wraps, and this is what's going to hold our binding, our signatures in place. So you turn it over, you see we have the 6. We'll spread these out a little bit. Now what we're going to do, and I have my signatures in the order that I want them to go in the book. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to start with my last one. I'm going to open it up to the center part, and we are going to slide it through this back. And I've got these a little tight, but that's okay. Slide this through here, grab a hold of it, pull it through till your fold is where your twine is. Whoops. I have a renegade here. There we go. And there's your signature. The twine in the middle is what holds it in place. So we're going to do that for each of these signatures. Just open it to where your center fold is. And if you get, so you have a really thick book, sometimes it gets a little hard to get these in. But this particular twine that I use is pretty dang tough. And since I've also got different lengths of papers, I got to make sure that they go where they're supposed to. I'm going to pull that out for right now because that'll make it easier. Alright, there's our second one in. Maybe. Did I get messed up? Nope, there it is. Put my tag back in. Grab the next one. In fact, I'll just pull the tag out first. Find my next piece of twine. And I did tie these a little tight, y'all, so I'm making this look a lot harder than it is. It might be easier to go this direction right now. Alright, I'm just about to lose my marbles here, which wouldn't take a lot. Let's try going back the other direction. I tied these too tight. Guys, really, this is not a difficult binding system. She says, laughing maniacally, I've made this a whole lot harder than I need to because I've tied it a little too tight. There we go. And it's a little book, so it's a little weird to deal with. Okay, we're getting there. Let me scooch these over just a little bit, and that will help some as well. Give me a little bit more room to work with. There we go. Alright, let's try this one. We'll take the tag out just to make it a wee bit easier. Again, I'm just opening each signature to where the center fold is, and then here we go, sliding it under that twine. And I like this binding system because it is easier, despite how I've made it look. And then you can, if you have, since like on this one I have, let me scoop these over. I have a lot of different sized things that aren't necessarily all cut to the same exact dimensions. Then you can like slide them up and down the twine and position them however you want. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, where are the holes that I punched, or where is my stitching going to go? You just, you just grit your teeth. I swear, this is not as hard as I'm making it look. I tied my twine too flippin' tight. Okay, I'm killing this one. Let me try going the other direction. Since I've got less bulk over here now. I hope you guys are laughing with me and not at me on this one. There we go. Make sure I get all my various sizes going through there. Oops, I got one that doesn't want to play nice. And honestly, I maybe could have made my signatures a little... Oh, I'm losing half of my signature. That's alright, we'll pull it out. I could have made these a little less bulky. I got a little carried away. I know that's hard to believe, but I did. There we go. See, it's easier with less bulk. Where does that little taggy tag go? Right there. Okay. Let's see if I lose my mind getting this last one in. Perhaps I've already lost my mind, and that is the problem. This one should be a lot easier because there's nothing in its way. She says, except for the book itself. Oy vey. There she goes. Okay, put our tag back in. Yay! Now look at that chunky monkey. Now, I have a hard time, obviously, with getting this binding on. I have a hard time with always figuring out closures. Now, had I been thinking, before I put my interior papers on, okay, I would have run ribbon underneath there so that I had ribbon sticking out over here to tie it shut. Obviously, I forgot to do that. And I need to go back and fix this corner that I messed up. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do for a binding. I could just take some more of this twine, run it under here and through, and just tie it like that. I may do that. I could punch a hole with my crocodile on either side and set an eyelet in there, and you could tie stuff that way. I think Tim Holtz makes those little, I don't know what they're called, but they're like stick up little posts, and then you could attach a ribbon back here and bring it up and wrap it around the post. You might even be able to do that with a button. So there's all different kinds of ways that you could do a closure on this. I did not plan ahead for that, obviously, but anyway, now you've seen this, what not to do with this binding method, and that's tie the twine as tight as I did. But here's my little book, anyway, that I did with the things that Lizzie sent me. 6 little signatures with a few tags and a few pockets, a little bit of stamping, and a lot of room if you were going to, you know, keep a diary of love notes or things that you love, or fill it up with how you feel about somebody and then gift this to them, and there's all different kinds of ways you could do this. I will probably dress this spine up with some little bead danglies, and I'll show you that in the still pictures in the end. So in the meantime, there is the easy twine binding system that I didn't make look very easy. My apologies to Debbie with Ephemera's Garden, because like it is way easier than that. I've done it a gazillion times, and I just kind of messed this one up. So there you go. I appreciate you watching. Go watch my other Fab4 buddies and see what they've made for their Valentine swap project. I will link all of their channels below so you can go and have a look at what they did and give them a little YouTube love as well. So in the meantime, I hope you have a blessed day, and thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.